Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo, and apparently we're going to be going to a homecoming party taking place in Lilly's room, of all places. And Akira is going to be there, so you know there's going to be some shenanigans happening in this party. Walking up the now slightly more familiar corridor of the girls' dormitories. Apparently I've been here way too many times. I'm way familiar with it now, probably more so than the boys' dormitories. I can hear the faint sound of laughter coming from up ahead. It doesn't take long to identify the source as Lilly's room, though the deep timbre of a female voice unmistakably belongs not to her, but to her sister. I rap my knuckles on the door with the usual light 3 taps, but my hand barely retreating as the door swings open. Hey, Hisao! Hey, hello, Lilly, Hanako. Hanako looks up tentatively, her hands buried in her oversized pink nightgown. Is that all you guys wear? You have like one set of night gear, and that's it. That's all you wear for like day in, day out when you go to bed. From her side, Lilly turns sideways towards the direction of my voice and smiles. It would be a flagrant lie to say I dislike the sight of her in those pajamas. I catch Akira give me a sidelong look with a knowing grin, to which I reply with a sharp glare. She takes the hint, shrugs, and walks back to the low table in the center of the room. As I go to join her, Lilly gives me a nod of greeting and starts pouring me a cup of tea. It's nice to see you again, Hanako. You've been getting around recently. Lilly wears a look of concentration as the light brown liquid, carefully measured by her finger as always, flows from the teapot into the cup. It seems Hanako has taken up helping one of the people in your class with the newspaper club. Naomi, I think? Hanako gives an affirmative nod. Even after spending about 2 months in the class, I still have trouble remembering the names of those students I rarely talk with. It takes me a few mental contortions to connect the name with the face, but I eventually remember the girl that sits beside Hanako at the back of the class. Naomi Inu. A fairly average-looking girl, except for her bleached blonde hair. Given her upbeat and straightforward personality, Naomi may have seen an opening to poach Hanako for her club when she inquired about joining one. Oh my gosh. It was probably during that time we were in the class with Lilly, and they all grabbed Hanako off to the side and said, "Hey, how you doing? Join my club now or I kill you! Kill your whole family!" Either way, it's nice to see Hanako broadening her horizons. Against her will. She's being forced! When I first met her, the idea of her joining a club with anyone but Lilly would have seemed utterly laughable. Explain how busy you've been. Enjoying it? It's really interesting. As always, Hanako's far from being talkative. Some things never change. It seems that Hanako's personality is one of them. She'll likely always be one to shy away from being overly social. Warned by the sound of crockery against the table as Lilly gently places my drink in front of me, I thank her and take a long sip. Hanako and Lilly are attending to their own, and Akira's quaffing a mug of strong-smelling black coffee. You're a lucky person, Hisao. I'm not gonna say it. Huh? I can't help grimacing at her teasing smile, still visible around the edges of the mug pressed to her lips. Seeing my sister in her pajamas, that's a lot of men out there who'd like to be where you are. I've seen a lot more than that of her, not that I'd like to admit it. Akira! Hey, I'm just teasing. She leans over to me as much as she can, whispering with a sly grin written on her face. And Hanako, too. You perv. With those eyes! Hey, it was her idea. We both look over to her, her face turned to the ground, her hands fidgeting in the lap of her nightgown. If it's Hisao, I don't mind. Ooh, okay. This could be bad. Hanako, be quiet. Don't speak anymore. I know Hanako's altogether too innocent to bother reading too much into such a thing, but the expression Akira directs at me is positively stormy. I'm in trouble. Akira, please. Seems Lilly can sense Akira's sudden change in aura just as well as I, even without seeing it for herself. Akira slowly looks away from me like an attack dog leashed by its owner in the nick of time. I breathe a sigh of relief. I can't think of a more appropriate time to try and change topics than around now. Right? Meow. If you don't mind me asking, Akira, what do you do for a living? I've never seen you out of that suit. The one and only suit you own. Thinking about what to do with yourself after school's over, eh? I'm a lawyer, for the most part. I work in the legal department of the Japanese branch of our family's company. The most boring possible answer, I suppose. Law's a pretty dry topic to most people. Kinda. Oi, you're not supposed to agree. Lilly gives an amused giggle while holding her teacup and saucer. Hanako quickly joining her. Haha! Hanako's finally laughing at Akira, that's awesome. This friendly atmosphere between everyone is something I'd missed while Lilly and Akira were on their trip. While the dealings I had with Hanako didn't help, I think just not having Lilly around changed the mood. It's nice to be back. I missed you, Hisao, and you too, Hanako. Same goes for the both of us. I'm guessing your classmates were happy to see you back. In a manner of speaking, yes. Whoops! Akira's amused snort shows where she's well aware of Lily's attitude towards such figures of speech. I imagine she'd have to be, given how long they've been together. Did you have fun in Scotland? For a moment I wonder why she's asking. It having been quite a while since they came back, but then I remember everything that happened. We've simply not had time to look back. What with the exams and our Hokkaido trip. Lily's face goes distant for a moment, and the fact that Akira's first reaction is to look over to her sister doesn't escape me. Nonetheless, she quickly recollects herself. It was nice. We hadn't met her family in such a long time, so it was a wonderful reunion. Yeah, I guess that's right. Their house being beachside was the best part, though. From her dismissive tone, I get the feeling Kira doesn't like their family as much as Lilly does. You only like that because you finally had time to play around. Just because I'm the better swimmer. I don't take after the athletic side of my family, that's all. Well, you can take heart in the fact that you got the height genes, at least. And the bust genes, woo! That's not really the kind of thing to say around others. Though Lilly pretends to scold Akira, she does so with an unmistakable, slightly cheeky grin on her face. Yeah, I got bigger rack than you. Sister rivalry at its finest. I doubt Akira really minds that, judging from her nonchalant expression. But I don't either. Hanako's looking down and blushing furiously beside me. The sisters' antics aside, their parents really do lead a I cannot say that, bourgeois lifestyle? Is that how you say it? It seems utterly divorced from the life that Lilly and Akira have lived until now. I suppose practicality must have made the decision for them. To have come from such a wealthy and well-connected lineage only adds to the almost noble air Lilly seems to have, though. It's a small wonder none of it seems to have rubbed off onto Akira. They really are as little alike as siblings could be. Their only similarity seems to be their shared confidence, which can be both endearing and a headache at times. Most of the night continues much the same, with Hanako eventually leaving the Sato sisters and me to ourselves as she heads back to her dorm room for a rest. For a while, only the barely audible sound from Lily's teacup and saucer can occasionally be heard as she slowly drinks. The silence is strained as Lilly and I wait for the elephant in the room to be addressed. So... Lilly dutifully puts her cup down, giving her sister her undivided attention. Yes? With Lilly and me on one side of the low table and Akira at the other, this almost feels like a judge passing down a verdict. I hear you two are going out now. I glance sideways at Lilly to confirm her as the source of Akira's knowledge. She gives a gentle nod to Akira, which I mirror in affirmation. Deciding that this is the proper time and place to do so, and Akira being the closest figure to a parent Lily's had for much of her life, I bow deeply with my hands on the floor before me and my head very nearly the same. I'll take good care of your sister, Akira, I promise you. See, he's a lovely young gentleman. She must have heard my voice coming from a lower position than usual. I slowly bring myself back up, my eyes tentatively looking to Akira from under my brow. To tell the truth, I very much doubt my suited judge will raise any objections. She's very definitely the type to make her disapproval with others well known, something that lends her a measure of respect in my eyes. The old-fashioned kind, huh? Well, he's the kind of person I guess you'd go for. I don't have a problem with it, and I wish you two the best. Even if I didn't like it, I couldn't really do anything anyway. I offer a nod of appreciation to her as Lilly gives a small sigh of relief. Likely more out of duty than any actual belief Akira might have had any problems with us being together. I do wonder, though, how's the rest of the family taken it, particularly the part residing at Yamaku? Have you told her? Smiles turn to grimaces as Akira grins downright evilly. Those closest know how to twist the knife best, after all. Whoo! Dang, Akira! Putting up with it may be the best term for the situation. Don't you agree, Hisao? Yeah, that sounds about right. At least she's being reasonable about it. Good to hear. That girl can be a handful at the best of times. We sent a few messages back and forth during and just after the trip, and she was already busting my chops for seeing my boyfriend when we came back. After leaving Hidekai for so long, she really does care for the little guy. I cast my mind back to Shizun's odd reaction after telling her about our relationship, but decide not to bring it up. It's no doubt simply born of their mutual antipathy, and Akira's comments only back that up. Well then, that's settled. Gotta get to work early tomorrow, so I'd better be off. She rises from the table with a grunt, her hand on her knee to push herself up. I just notice Akira's eyes lingering on Lilly for a couple seconds before turning away as she begins to take her leave. Wow, she's just leaving us alone. I approve this coupling here. Have fun, guys. Bye. Okay. In all sorts of trouble. After she walks out the door, she stops and looks up thoughtfully before turning to us one last time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you. Use protection every time. Whoa! Dang! Alright then. I gag violently on the tea in my mouth. Ha! Contrary to my own, Lily's composure holds perfectly as she seems entirely unfazed. I'm kind of impressed. We are, don't worry. Wow! Atta girl. See us. Jeez. Free lifestyle. With that, she turns and strides away, a hand held high as she disappears in the darkened hallway, closing the door behind her. That was just like a complete permission just to do whatever you want now. I'm going to leave you guys alone so you can do whatever you want. Use protection. Peace. See ya. The most reaction I can muster is flopping forwards under the table, completely drained of energy and truly exhausted by her. Lily's ability to hold her own against that suited devil is something I admire. She really is incredibly blunt. I don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with your sister's energy. As I feel Lily's soft hand coming to rest on my own, I roll my head to the side to see her gently smiling. For a long time, we simply sit beside each other silently. Given her unquestionably unusual height, she is pretty much exactly as tall as I am. Probably a couple centimeters higher, if anything. Like this, she appears even taller. The feeling of her pale, soft hand against mine is a pleasant one, as is the sight of the thin silken pajamas she wears, showing her curves and collarbone. Oh, I can see where this is going real quick. You do get on well enough, even if you do say that. I guess. You know, you two are a lot more alike than I first thought when I met you. Then it's a good thing I quickly stopped you from going after her, isn't it? Oh, I intercepted you! Though she jokes about it, my assessment of my inability to keep up with Akira, either physically or mentally, was quite in earnest. Lily's slow-paced and ladylike, almost motherly. Nature is perhaps the single thing that helped me most in my first weeks at Yamaku. Come to think of it. Wait, since when we were using protection? As I give a curious look to my side, Lily's cheeks puff out as she huffs at me. Unlike you, I remembered. The packet is in the cupboard next to the sink. What? Wow. Okay, let me get this straight. So, she knew before she came to the house from the wheat fields that things were gonna happen that way. So she already had the protection in. So she was gunning for a particular outcome. Same as when she came into the bathroom, she was gunning for a particular outcome. She was already prepared. She knew what she was getting in for, and she had a mission. She came in, and she accomplished that mission. Pre-planning. That's what it was. So, I'm not the only one of us that takes a pill. In hindsight, I feel rather thoughtless for not remembering it all and leaving it to Lilly. Yeah, that was pretty thoughtless, Hisao. Looking over to the cupboard she mentions, I notice again the knee-high piles of books around us that were here the other times I'd visited. For the most part, they are lined up against the wall to give a little more room around the table. Why don't you get a bookshelf for your books? It's odd to see books just piled around, especially given that your room looks so neat and orderly otherwise. They're easier to find this way. I know exactly which pile each book is in. Makes sense. Wouldn't you still know that after putting each set on a different shelf? That may be, but... So she's not immune to bouts of laziness after all. You have so many of them, it's kind of a shame we can't share our book sets despite both of us reading so much. She gives a short giggle. Come to think of it, why do you order your books through Yuko? I imagine there'd be plenty of sites that you could order books in Braille from, especially in English Braille. There are a lot of text-to-speech programs too. She turns her head slightly away from me, which strikes me as somewhat surprising. I'm just not all that good with computers. I'm alright with typewriters and braillers, but that's about it. Her tone almost makes me chuckle. She's a prideful person, so admitting something like that must be difficult. So, Lilly's the low-tech kind of person. Given her old-fashioned personality, it's not really a stunning surprise. I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people aren't really that good with them, so it's not that unusual. That's unusual. Now that she's even more depressed, it feels like I'm twisting the knife rather than healing her wounds. With a bit of squirming, I shuffle my way closer to her, tentatively putting one hand around her waist to hug her. I'm still not really used to this kind of physical affection, but Lilly seems to like it. Ooh. Lilly smiles as she turns to face me, a kiss being the reward for giving in to her. She draws me in, brushing my upper lip with hers before pressing against both. This way, every one of my senses is filled with her. The barely perceptible scent of her hair, her taste as her tongue fleetingly touches mine, the tenderness of her lips, the image of her filling my mind, and the total silence apart from her faint breath. I'm surprised they're getting this good along with some sort of tongue kissing. Most times, first timers are just like, "Ah," and they're just like, "Oh gosh, what are we even doing? I don't even know." So she might have had some practice or something. Who knows? We may have kissed before, but even this is more of a kiss of simple affection than anything. It's still a new and pleasant sensation. Judging from her vivid blush as she pulls back, it's obvious she feels the same as I do. Even if we're entirely alone, it still feels a little embarrassing to open up to each other this much. If we take everything day by day, I think that would be for the best. Small steps, right? Yeah, just small steps. We have plenty of time to be together, even after the school year is over. As long as we move together, I think everything will work out okay. Neither of us is going anywhere soon, after all. For now, I'm just thankful for this small moment in time we can spend together. Alright. They're paring themselves down a little bit. They're slowing the relationship down after the speed bullet train that happened at Hokkaido. My goodness. So, we're going to do a quick save. I don't even know where we're at. Right here. And, well, there is that. It looks like we have the blessing not just from Hanako, but from her older sister, Akira, which is pretty much a parental figure at this point. And she has given us the full go-ahead to just embrace the relationship full-heartedly. So it is now, it's on. The floodgates have opened. There is no stopping this. So we'll figure out where the story will go from here. See y'all later.